PKN402. What's up, boys?
How's it going?
Going well.
It's going great. Hockey playoffs started. There's a feast of content for me to watch every night. It's great. The Blues bent over Mitty Smitty's beloved Minnesota Wild and butt fucked them, shut them out in game one, 4-0. 4-0 with a hat trick from David.
I thought you were pulling a Woody there and being like, they butt fucked them 2-1, smashed them. It's an embarrassment, really.
A total domination, a total rout. And I was getting that Schadenfreude or whatever it's called. Like I went on YouTube and there's a million shows for every team in the NHL. So I looked up the Minnesota Wild show, and they're just like devastated because it's these two guys and they're from Minnesota. And so they love hockey, and they're just like, and if you don't know, this was like Minnesota's year. Still could be. It's only game one, but it's the best team they've ever had ever. And so going in, all the models and the ratings were like, it's more likely the Blues get swept than they even win this. And all the hockey data guys, all the guys who got the 2019 run wrong, just saying. But then
I thought
game
you
one
were
happens
especially confident coming into this, Taylor.
I was pretending to be.
Okay. Yeah. You will be. All right, carry on.
Yeah. And so the Blues just rolled over them, and like all the comments I'm seeing from like the Wild fans are like, I just don't get it. Every year, why do we have to pair up against St. Louis? They just fuck us. They just keep fucking us. And like it is one of those weird relationships. Like I see the Wild hockey Reddit, they're already like assuring themselves this series is over, which it's like, dude, guys, calm down. It's game one. Like I'm being like a braggart right now because we won one game. You think I'm retarded and you think we're going to actually sweep it? Probably not. But these guys in the comments are like, back it up, boys. I'm going to kill myself. And it's like, dude, it's game one.
Dude, I'm hoping for a continuation of my little streak here. Like my sports teams and my MMA fighters have been on a fucking tear. It's good to be on Kyle's team these days. Just world champions, national champions, you name it.
Yeah.
So all I need is Colorado to come through, and literally the streak of like my team's winning the championship in professional sports will continue.
Your team you picked is literally favored for the cup.
It's kind of a topic change. Do you know the card this weekend, Kyle?
I am very excited about the card. Very cool storylines. Out with the old and in with the new. All sorts of fun stuff going on. Lots of,
I can't tell if you know or if you're doing a very clever sports thing. Like, I am very aware. Out with the old, in with the new. Interesting backstories coming to us. I think that the
just got to get in there one round after another. Keep your hands up. Keep moving forward.
Keep hands up.
It's
pressure on opponents. It's going to be a good card. You haven't said anything yet.
So I might be conflating some of these with the May 7th card.
That is the one?
Oh, okay. Then it's Lozon fighting Cerrone.
Yes.
Opening things up, and then there's another one with a couple of guys.
Shogun is fighting against OSP.
That's the other one. Yeah.
Chandler versus Ferguson. Super interesting to me. Rose Namajunas versus Carlos Esparza, another really interesting one. And
dangerous one for Rose. Look, we always say they're dangerous because they always are, because Rose is the fucking champion of the world, so she doesn't fight easy fights. But this is another one that's like a kind of a rough matchup for her.
I love her. She's maybe my favorite fighter. Well, second favorite fighter.
She's one of my favorite people.
I really like. Yeah. She's great. And somehow I never have confidence that she can win any of her fights. She's the champion of the world, and I haven't bet on her yet.
Yeah, I think I could beat her.
She's too sweet, right?
I could beat at Rose, right?
No. Yeah, you probably could, actually. I don't know. It's too big. You're too big and strong.
I think I am. And that has nothing to do with what I think of myself. A copy of me that's a different person physically, I think that person would probably also beat up Rose.
Right, any of your physical peers. You're just
she's
too
like
big
120
and strong.
pounds,
Yeah.
And she's a fucking 120-pound ninja, but I got like 100 pounds on you. So it's like, fuck,
muscle.
right?
Yeah. If you get a grip on her, any of her limbs, that limb is out of commission until you decide it's no longer.
Last night, she was probably training to be a little bit quicker and to dodge a punch. Last night, I was in my garage sweating, lifting heavy things. I just think I got the edge if I get on top of Rose Namajunas.
And the last fight we didn't mention, Charles Oliveira. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Oliveira. He's the 155-pound champion, and he's fighting Justin Gaethje, who
huge.
Is
that's
really fun.
That's my main event.
That is the main event, but yeah.
As much as I love Rose and shit, her fights are like barn burners.
That's my main event. It is the main event.
I didn't know
that's my main event. You know, it's the last fight, right?
Yeah.
I do not stand corrected. It is my main event. Just because it's yours and you wanted to like slide in on my thing there at the end
it's
doesn't make
UFC.
me any more.
How can
right.
we have the same left? We're two different people. Just like that.
That's a big one. I'm a huge Gaethje fan. I still think of Gaethje as like the guy. Like I'm not sold on Oliveira. I'm just not. Maybe it's just because he has a weird look, and I don't like
someone. Who did he just beat? That like
was it Chandler?
It to me, I don't think so. I think he beat Chandler to get the title, and then he beat someone else, and I was like, "All right, you're real. I'll look him up."
Yeah. Well, and then when does Tony Ferguson fight again? Is that this card?
That's the same card.
Holy fucking shit! Tony's on the card too.
He is. He
See,
fights
I have been
Chandler.
So I know about all of these matchups and fights, but in my head, I was like, Kyle, you're doing that thing you do where like you're combining the advertising for two cards together and you're combining next month's card with this month's card. There's no way. Wow. This is one of the bigger cards.
You guys have heard me use this line before. Like about twice a year, the UFC throws a Super Bowl, and this is going to be one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe Lozon's on the card.
Joe Lozon's on the card. Good luck to him facing off against an opponent who's 3 years older than Donald Cerrone. Lozon coming at 37, Donald Cerrone at a cool 40 years of age.
Okay.
Donald's been getting roughed up for a long time.
Is Joe favored? Or not?
I don't know, but Joe came off a 3-fight losing streak and with a nice first round win, like 40 seconds in his last time out. A lot of people thought that was going to be his last. Dana White insinuated that he kind of thought that was Joe's last, but I'm glad Joe's coming back. And this is a huge fight. Whether he wants to hang it up or not, this would be a great. There's a lot of eyes there to like get that message out. Like I don't know
whether he hangs it up or not. I don't know. It is possible, and it would be neat for me. So at the end of a fighter's career, this isn't just a UFC thing; it's a combat thing. They will take their gloves off in the ring and leave them there if they're retiring, and it would be like a Gretzky retirement. Maybe I'm stretching it, but if Donald Cerrone and Joe Lozon both take off their gloves and leave them in the ring as they leave, that'll be like a fucking serious moment. Like
I agree with you 100%, but like I think both of their personalities are counter to that on a win. I think if Donald Cerrone goes out there and like heaven forbid like puts a Showtime Pettis kick type situation on Joe and he just stands there like, yeah, that's right, and then like the crowd's going crazy, like he's not going to quit there. He's going to be like, maybe I've still got it. No, you don't. On the beach of every lake in Texas, yes, you do.
Yes,
but maybe not in the UFC anymore, Donald. I love Donald Cerrone.
Yeah,
and then the same goes for Joe. Like if Joe comes out and starches Donald Cerrone, look at like the same way McGregor did. Like if he comes out and it's just like, holy shit, oh no, and it's just he gets to show off like 2 or 3 skill sets and just dismantle Donald Cerrone over the course of a minute and a half. I can't imagine Joe being like, yeah, we'll stop there.
Joe's a smart guy with options. Donald Cerrone is notoriously a poor money manager. So that might inspire him to keep fighting into his 50s and 60s. Yeah, he's invested in RVs and jet skis.
I feel you.
Who's that fighter who fought himself like all the way retarded? He had like a mohawk.
Tito Ortiz.
There's a couple.
Tito Ortiz started mostly retarded, so he didn't even have to do that much fighting to get there. But then the Iceman, Chuck Liddell, he's clearly not all there anymore. There's a lot of hard drug use going along with that. He does a lot of cocaine and alcohol. So like maybe
he dabbles in a lot of, he's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
That brain is a war zone.
I remember because there was
Kosovo in his cerebral
this was
cortex.
Like at this point, this was like 7 years ago. So he's probably way worse than this now. But there was an episode of this show, Workaholics. It was just a silly comedy show on Comedy Central. And it's not the kind of show, it's not The Sopranos. He guest starred on that show and he had like a couple of easy lines. And like you could see him struggling to put like the pieces of simple, like jokey lines.
He's got
just
no
on
cadence.
the stage. Yeah, he had no cadence. He's walking weird with his body. Like everything,
should've
every
seen his last
joint looks
fight.
like it hurts.
See, it was really sad a couple years ago. A different organization drug him out of retirement for another little payday and had him fight his old rival, Tito Ortiz, who's in way better shape mentally and physically. And he just got beat up out there like an old man in a parking lot. That's literally what it was.
But he needed the money, I guess. Or wanted, maybe he
I don't
believed
know.
himself.
I don't know.
This is the Iceman Ortiz, right? Yeah, he might have needed money, but I know that he didn't get much. Like
what we know is he wanted money.
Is he the guy that they gave a job at the UFC, like a do nothing job because they felt bad for him?
But and they wanted to keep him from having to do things like this.
Yeah,
you know, he put in like this would be like if at your law firm after winning your first 50 cases, you started like forgetting how to read, and then they were like, "All right, get the fuck out of here. The firm is established now." Like you keep paying that guy to do paralegal work, even though he can't read anymore.
Yeah, it would reflect poorly on your firm if that guy was like dancing in Times Square for pennies.
The UFC really differs from every other major sport in that I'm older than it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I remember when it was like in its first days, and my uncle would bring VHSs to like my dad's place and be like, "There's a ninja on here that like pinned this white guy and just elbows him over and over in the face." And he didn't say ninja, although it did kind of fit with the martial arts thing. So I can see why you might be confused. And up until modern days, when you don't even think of it as like the blood sport cage fighting as much as you think of it as like fucking professional athletes who are on like special diets with trainers and nutritionists, like real modern day ninjas. Probably the greatest warriors that have ever lived are in the fucking UFC, right? As far as we're talking about like hand-to-hand combatants, like I'd pit any of the guys in the UFC against like Olag the Viking from the year 500 AD or whatever.
I don't know. Olag doesn't know any of the rules, and he's not.
All right, we'll make him abide by the rules. We're gonna
Olag no play by silly small man's rules.
No, there'd be a big man for Olag. Like the UFC's got fucking weight classes. There's plenty of big men.
Olag's never seen a carb. He's a meat man through and through. He's got a terrible.
He's like a tiger. He eats 45 pounds of raw meat a day.
He's just that's what he looks like.
I think I've settled on the cage I'm gonna get. I think I'm gonna get the Rep 4000.
What
when
color?
you build it out, even like putting the stuff, all the nice stuff on it, it's still under $2,000. Which is a shocker to me because Rogue, it's like, all right, we'll start at 3,500. It's like,
what kind of safety bars are you picking?
Safety.
Okay, so people don't know. You can picture a powerlifting cage. It's kind of like got 4 posts, and you do your weightlifting in the middle of it. There are bars that go from the front posts to the back ones, so that if you fail your bench press, fail your squat, or whatever, it catches the bar rather than having it drop on you. Mine are solid bars that go across. They're kind of rectangles.
Pin pipes.
You chose the pin pipes.
That's what I have.
Yes, I plan on the pin pipes are free.
Yep,
that might be the move. There was a time that's what I wished I had, because mine sort of. Can you show that picture again, Zach? If you can. Mine click into the side and go down, and they're rectangles, and they're nice in that they're gentle on the bar. Like I give a fuck about that. But I wish you could see my mouse. But they go from front to rear, and they sort of click into those holes and go down rather than travel through the front bar all the way to the back. The trouble is it took a little skill, for lack of a better word, to adjust my bars up and down and to like get a knack for not doing it crooked. And I hated it, but now I'm good at it. So I've grown to like it. The pin bars seem very easy to get right. Yeah. And that kind that's on the screen, people like a lot, because let's say you do a squat and you touch it. It doesn't have like a really dramatic impact like the other kinds do.
There's a little stop and stretch.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it just sort of slides out of the way. It's still there to save you, but it's not there to help you or let you rest on it or anything like that. I was just wondering what you picked, but the bars will be a good choice for sure.
I haven't clicked buy yet, but my I think click build rack. I'll do exactly. It'll literally take 60 seconds. We're going with 93 inches, then in red.
I think red's default. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. And then we're going to go with the deep one, the 41-inch rack depth. And I'm gonna make that red, and then on the safeties, I'm just the pin pipes. I think are in the right
middle
in the
one.
center.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm not gonna do the weight storage tower. I'll just get like some of the things that like go in and the pegs,
side,
whatever you
like
call
in-
them.
The pegs. Those are.
I don't need a whole
those are
other
easy.
tower. If you go to weight storage, I think if you click weight storage, it gives you options. Yeah. So I'll just do like the horns, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Those
So
are
I'll just get
easy.
a couple of horns, and then I will put like the nice pull up bar on there, even though
Good
I just
call.
bought like a $800 pull up station.
Looks like
No, but you
that
still
one's
want
the
it.
best one. Yeah.
I still want
Multi-grip.
it because it's the one I don't like that one with the globe grips. I don't think I have interest in that, but I do want that multi-grip pull-up bar. And then I want the the plastic J cups for sure.
The middle ones. Yeah.
Actually, I think I want the flat ones on the far right. I think that's my preference. And then I need the rear stabilizer because we're not bolting it down. And I
Yeah.
need the front foot extension.
Yeah,
And
bolting
that's
it
a
down
wrap.
would be annoying.
And
You're
look
not
how
Can
gonna-
you get big hooks for the front? I use them all the time. What is that bottom thing?
That's a leg roller attachment, so you can get a couple of them, and you can like have calf
I
to
can't see it,
quad
so
kind of
zoomed
cantilever
in.
thing.
Can you zoom in, Zach? I can't see anything. That helps. In any case, I have they're not J hooks in the front. I guess I'll call them L hooks because they're like 18 inches long. I use them a lot.
Yeah,
I thought you might like them. I use them for my deadlifts. I use them for my bent over rows. It's how I change the weights.
Yeah.
wait, I can bench press out of that too, right?
You can bench press in. Oh, with the L hooks I'm talking about?
No, with what I've just built there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah,
of
yes,
course.
absolutely.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I'm a little stoned, but yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. But that's so cheap. Like
It is.
I
That's
hate
not as
Zach.
bad as I would've
Zach,
thought,
my
yeah.
birthday's coming up. If you just want to add that cart, take care of that for me.
I wonder if shipping is going to surprise you or where that is.
I thought
Oh,
it
it's
was
gonna
free.
baffle you.
I thought it was free.
Is it free? All right. Because sometimes, like my dumbbells go up to 65, and I've been like, I should get some 75s. I don't have that much more room on the rack, but if I had 75s, that'd be like complete what Woody needs. Maybe
Mhm.
not you guys, but for me, that'd get me really far. And it's like, oh yeah, dumbbells are $200, shipping $200 more. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, really? That's a lot.
You should get on. I've been looking a lot on Facebook Marketplace, and what obviously you're hoping for that dream scenario where someone has everything in the box and they just never got into it. And you see, I literally found like bumper plates in the box, and he's like, "Save the shipping and come pick them up." like he shows you what it's like if you add it to cart on like a Rogue, and it's like, "Come grab them from me, save the 150 shipping or whatever it was," or at the time. But now Rogue's got free shipping, so it doesn't even apply when you do the math. Rogue's got the best deal on bumper plates that I can find. Like you can get the white lettered V2 bumper plates so cheap. I'm gonna get another set, I think, because I want some stuff on my I want to I've been doing like a lot of hangs, and what I want to do with this assisted dip machine is instead of overloading and doing such heavy dips and pull-ups, I want to do take the weight off and like max
High
out
reps.
I want to see how many reps I can do of like 50-pound pull-ups, and
That's
and
interesting.
Probably a lot.
Because my idea is to go to that rock wall with zero rock wall climbing experience, but lots of strength, and just brute force my way up the tallest rock wall.
You're not min-maxing your skill set in the best way. Put a little effort into the rock climbing and the rest in strength. You'll be.
None.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
None.
You can maybe watch some YouTube videos about rock crawling if you want to.
Oh, absolutely.
What
not.
about none? He doesn't want to.
I did it a little bit. I had actually PK Dan. You guys know him. He was into indoor rock climbing for a little bit, and I went with him a couple of times and got some of the just basics.
That just doesn't appeal to me. The climbing as a hobby, especially indoor climbing.
So let me tell you, Zach, will you pull it up? It's the largest outdoor climbing wall in Georgia. or tallest. Like it's outdoors.
Outdoor would
stuff.
be fun.
It's outdoors. You're gonna love this. It's like I saw it, and that's what inspired me to like switch up my training routine a little bit. Like
really,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
neat.
I'm
So you want to
planning
be
on-
a little more
Agile.
power to strength ratio.
No,
I'm saying
I
that
want to
wrong.
focus
Strength to
on
weight ratio.
I'm trying. It's not that I'm not changing like everything. I'm just building grip strength and
Okay.
I don't want my forearms to burn out because I think that's what will make me fall off a wall. Yeah, I want to go to the top of that.
Huh.
Are they finished with it?
you
Like, what the
I
hell?
mean,
build it as you go, Taylor.
I don't.
okay.
I don't mean to be
You
an
gotta-
ass, but yeah, I would take the stairs. You see, they go right up the middle.
They're dealing with a terrible contractor. Please build the rest of our wall. I don't know. We got a full day. Right off screen is all the building materials left there, like at Woody's house.
Does it say how tall it is there on their site anywhere? Maybe.
I mean, you can.
It
see
doesn't
but-
look tall, but you see the people and you realize how
Yeah.
it dwarfs them.
I think it's like 80, 90 feet, something like that.
Yeah, maybe even more than that. But that looks kind of like fun. The only rock climbing wall I ever did,
140 feet tall.
As a little kid, I did the one that's at like Dick's Sporting Goods at the mall. They had a big one of those in the middle,
Mhm.
or it seemed big when I was like 8 or 9. But yeah, it was all right.
I think I did something similar once. Like what do you call it, the belaying thing? There's a guy holding the rope at the bottom. What do you call that? I have memories of it, but my memories sometimes it's like this mixture of memories are weird anyway, but sometimes like a movie can meld into a memory, and I'll be like, wait, was that me that went rock climbing, or was that an episode of Dexter?
Was that me?
Did Dexter go rock climbing?
Yeah, I went and rock climbed, then came back and solved a murder. Ah, fuck. That's Dexter again. Like, I keep confusing my life with Dexter.
I just finished up with my blood analysis, and I told Reed I'd be home. Oh no.
And my annoying sister, who was in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and career should have ended there.
Absolutely, it
doing
should have.
this.
Close your
Yeah.
mouth, bitch.
I feel like
She
that picture at
stunk.
the top of the screen shows it so much better. I know a lot
agreed.
of people are watching this on audio, but if you zoom into that, Zach, or not, no, maybe just not zoom in.
He's doing the best he can.
Says
Look
it's-
at that-
Oh,
look
I
at
meant
that
like
photo.
zoom. There you go.
It looks like that classic 9/11 jumping off the building photo.
Oh,
Was
I'm
that-
gonna duplicate that. Don't worry, I will.
You're gonna duplicate that.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
It's a terrible idea.
Oh,
That was
okay.
a sad day.
It was a
was.
sad
I don't know.
day.
Do you guys remember when that happened?
Yes, Kyle. I was like 35.
I mean, it's been a while now. I mean, you forget
He's
things.
like, I had just gotten home from work. My wife was pregnant.
I don't think I was 35, but it was a while. I was definitely a grown up.
21
I
years
know.
ago.
Just go.
That was an
I was on my
intentionally
way
silly
to
question.
work. Actually, I kind of slacked my way in that day. It happened at like 10 a.m. and my first meeting was around 10 a.m. So I was going to be on time, but like that was the story. And yeah, it was on the radio, and I didn't consider it a big deal. Like, oh, a plane hit the building. Meh, wacky things happen.
Mhm.
I get to work, and everyone's like freaking the fuck out about it. I'm like, is it no? Like, so? And I knew a fact about those buildings was it was designed for plane impacts.
Mhm.
Like
It had been hit by a plane before.
I had heard that. I didn't
Sure.
know that, but I had heard that they were designed to withstand plane impacts
Might not be true.
repeatedly. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Did I imply that? I didn't mean to.
No, I'm admitting that it might not be true. I know
Oh.
a building's been hit by a plane in New York. But
Okay.
I'm like, wait, was that also the Trade Center? Or was that the Empire State?
I'm not sure. But
Doesn't matter.
so when I heard it was hit by a plane, I thought no big deal. Well, it turns out planes have become much bigger and carry a lot more fuel than when they designed it for that. And
And also, Bush took the towers down, so that didn't help.
yeah,
That's undeniable.
thermite.
Everyone knows
And
that.
then the second
CIA
plane hit.
with
The second plane hit, and that's when that's when your boy figured out this might be on purpose.
It was after the second plane.
I don't know,
They go home
guys.
early
Like,
for the-
if
for
a
the-
third fucking plane hits, I'm gonna start to wonder.
Oh well, this one was the Pentagon. Maybe this is different people.
Oh, that's right. There was a third and a fourth.
And then the Pennsylvania one.
It's easy to forget. What? Never forget.
9/11, easily forgotten.
Why don't they say that? Why don't they remind us every now and then? Maybe yearly. Why don't they just let hey, remember that thing? Don't forget.
I almost forgot about the bombing in '93. Like that, they put a car bomb in the World Trade Center and blew it up.
Man.
And I guess the nature, like it just didn't have enough compression. Like it was able to disperse. If I understand, you know how bombs work. They really only work well if you put them in a confined area. If you have them in the wide open, that area, the energy goes everywhere.
Yeah. Unless it's Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I guess that was a big enough bomb to overcome that problem.
I think that was a dump truck.
U-Haul.
Was it? I thought
I think that was a dump truck versus a van.
I thought it was like a rapist van.
That was an
I thought it was like a big U-Haul thing, like 24 foot.
You're probably right.
I'm
I
not sure.
have done 0 seconds of research into that event ever. No idea what went down. Wait, that was the Timothy McVeigh thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did not know there was a daycare in there. If it makes a fuck to anyone,
Is he dead? Was he killed?
I think he got the death penalty, and they killed him maybe a decade or so ago.
Yeah, 2001, 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
He died before 9/11.
It was a rental truck full of explosives, so I was pretty close. Ryder, not U-Haul. But rental trucks come in different sizes, but one you might use for moving, I guess.
You can get a 35-footer.
Just giving someone with a normal who like drives a Prius a 35-foot truck.
Dude, I grew up driving like tractors and like 35-foot trailers behind trucks, sometimes going to the cattle sale. But when I rented that big U-Haul, I was like, all right, let's fucking smarten up here.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we take these turns nice and slow, nice and wide. Like I don't know at what speed this bitch rolls over. I've never
did the same. Yeah. I rented a truck like that, and everyone's driving next to me as you would a professional truck driver. Like, all of you should know how incompetent I am at this. I don't know what I'm doing at all. This is a U-Haul. It says it on the side.
I just got it in my head that I was like, I'm going to look straight ahead about 150 feet ahead, and I'm going to keep this lane as best I can. And if they hit me, they fucking hit me. But I'm staying in my lane. I cannot react with this thing because in my car, I do things. I'm a defensive driver. But in this thing, I was like, nope. Now we're a big rig.
I've seen you drive, Kyle. The best defense is a good offense.
I agree.
When you were driving your U-Haul, when I've driven one in the past, like the steering was so fucked from being a U-Haul that other people who don't know how to drive trucks drive. Like I had this much give in the middle of the lane. I wasn't moving like this much. Like you had to crank it like it was a car before power steering.
I almost recorded myself because to keep it in my lane, like the scariest part, and maybe to some people this sounds bitch made, but in Atlanta we're 6 lanes wide going 85, and this thing don't want to go 85, especially loaded down. And when I pass a big rig, and I have to pass him because he's not going fast enough, there's like this wind coming off the big rig that in your car, you'd be like, oh, a little bumpy wind thing there, a little turbulence. But when you're in that giant truck, it's like, God, I hope he doesn't. I'm afraid he's going to push me into the other lane because it's hard to maintain my lane as we like pass each other because so much wind's coming off him and hitting me right in the side. But other than that, I was like, they should not let some people rent these. I bet people. I heard there's a whole like crime spree going on nationwide, where what people do is they rent those U-Haul trucks, the pickups. They're $25 a day or something, like $24.99, no questions asked, and now you got wheels. Yeah, and so criminals go rent these things and go do crime. like
they're $24.99 a day.
People were like, "There's just so many of them driving around," and I mean, sure, people need to rent a truck every now and then, but there's so many. And there's so much crime. Almost every crime they're driving. And I was like, really? I hadn't heard anything about this. This is awesome.
No, people use rental cars for crimes all the time. We would have sketchy people come in and be like, I need to rent the shittiest Nissan you have. Where are you going? I'm going to Seattle. And then you're going to stay in Seattle? No, I'll be there for about 3 minutes. And then I'm coming all the way back here. And it's like, okay, and you do this every weekend, man. Like we know what you're doing, but whatever. The car comes back and it reeks.
So you know what I do? Here's what I do. I say, hey man, remember last time took the car to Seattle for 3 minutes and came right back.
Yeah.
The car reeked of something. Who's to say what it was? My manager was just about to go out there, a fucking narc. You know what I did? I took your car around the back, away from everybody.
And
I washed it down. I called the authorities. They're outside. Get fucked.
Yeah.
No, but you could have gotten yourself in. You could have been the cleaner.
I could have been the cleaner.
Like
Cleaner.
maybe
Like, hey, you got more another load, man? And he's like, Taylor, please stop talking to me like that. No, that was my deal. I told you I was going 50-50 or the entire arrangement was like this.
you could have been
Taylor's name would be
Paco.
Heisenbubbles.
Yeah.
like without even endangering yourself, you could have been like, maybe like I could give you a special service where since you bring cars back sometimes a little stinky for whatever reason, who knows what those smells are, I'll be the guy who makes sure that nobody ever smells that. And hey, if they ever do, I could take the blame for it. I could say I'm the one that made it stinky. No big deal. Sorry, I was on my break.
I'm guessing you go to Seattle and burn rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Do
hemp
that.
being
Look,
burnt.
as a traveling hemp salesman, you should know that
My rope guy's here. Yeah. You guys got a rope guy? No, I'd like when you'd return a car and it smelled like weed, it was because they had just smoked weed in it. And so like you give that to a car prep 2 minutes later, it's clean and fine. It was cigarettes that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Because you had to put an ozone machine in there, an ancient ozone machine that barely worked, and like for 2 straight days, just leave this shit running, hoping it would do.
I don't know what it is about cigarettes that makes it adhere
it's
to
the tar.
fabrics.
I know
House
the answer
seems
to
to.
this. It is a combination of 2 things that make cars stink when people smoke in them. One is they leave the fucking air conditioner on. It sucks that tar in, and that tar sticks to the filter. And now the air conditioner blows cigarette air now forever until you change those fucking filters out.
Okay.
That's really it.
It's easy to change a filter, by the way. I do that every so often.
But it could be all in there, right? It could be in the ductwork, like a regular smoker. I hate to bring him up, but remember Wing's grandma's trailer, how it had those like stains on the walls, and you moved a photo. Like the walls weren't always brown; they used to be white from the cigarette tar. I think like someone who smokes all the time in their car and it's sucked into the vents, it's like caked along all that like ductwork and all those vents.
Right?
It's got
every bit of plastic. So that's fucked. But like if you just turn your air conditioner off when you smoke in your car and you keep the window down, I don't think you get away with regular smoking, but you can get away with it in a rental.
Yeah, you can. I mean,
and I don't know how
you'll
these
get
smokers.
screwed.
And look, I smoked for years and years. I never had an ash go in the back seat or a cigarette go in the back seat. Like that's some amateur shit. Like I don't know how
a lot of people did.
It's those people who are like dainty about it, and they're like trying to like, let me push the cigarette up and let it fall over. No, you fucking flick that bitch like a man, and it's gone.
Dude, some people were so overt, like there's cigarettes in the passenger like footwell. Like where they just finished smoking and couldn't be bothered to even throw it outside the car.
That's so disgusting.
Like, what is wrong with you? You're just being aggressively shitty. Like, stop it.
I have had this happen. Now, one time I dropped my cigarette. I think I had to take some evasive maneuvers. The cigarette gets dropped, and now I'm like fixing. But now there's like a hot cigarette rolling around, and I don't want my fucking carpet melted. So I'm like dancing on it, trying to like get it out in the floorboard while driving down the road. That happened once.
That's the dangers of smoking they're always talking about.
Have you ever seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with John Candy and
it's a great
Steve
movie.
Martin?
Yeah.
There's a great scene where Steve Martin's asleep and John Candy's got this huge poofy jacket on, and he's driving the car, and he tries to take it off in the car, but he's a big man, and he gets all stuck in it. And he's super frustrated, and he like the car. He ends up having like almost a car accident. But he'd also flicked a cherry in the back seat like 10 minutes earlier. So when they get out to like evaluate the little spin he just had, the whole car burns down, but not so poorly that it can't still roll. So they just drive their melted car. That's such a good movie.
That's such a classic movie. I want to rewatch it. John Candy was hysterical.
I think it's a John Williams movie.
As a kid, I loved John Candy and everything, which, I mean, he's been dead for almost my entire life. Didn't he die in like the early 90s? He was dead even before Farley, I think.
He was in Home Alone. That had to be like 91.
Is it Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where he gives that monologue where he's like, yeah, I'm easy to tease. So what? Like, I'm a good guy. I'm a nice
94.
guy. People talk to
My
me.
wife likes me.
My wife likes me. My friends like me. Yeah.
Your wife's dead. Spoiler.
God damn it! Spoiling planes, trains, and automobiles for everyone. The movie's only been out for 30 years. What are you, dick?
No, it's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
I watched Network the other night, and I always talk about how movies make me cry. I think it's just like good performances might just make me cry because I was tearing up watching Howard Beale is the character's name. I can't remember the actor's name, but I was tearing up listening to Howard Beale talk about like bullshit and giving one of his 2 or 3 amazing monologues in that movie. If you've never seen it, it's an incredible cast. It's a fantastic movie, and it's so much of it like still applies today. And I think that movie's from the 70s, like maybe 76 or something. Really good stuff. They're like we're worried about the Russians. We're worried about the inflation, and a dollar buys a nickel's worth. And he's just like going down the line. I'm like, yeah, this is like everything of today. Like I wish abortion had been a main issue. I wish to God.
We have to talk about that. We have to. I guess Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned in July. It appears.
Seems elections have consequences.
Elections have consequences. Yeah, I something like 3 weeks ago, I was like, both parties are the same. I'm no longer on that train. 0% all on that. The parties are not the same. One of them wants to outlaw abortion and will.
Excuse me. One of them's a fucking winner.
Yeah.
And one of them's a loser.
Which one's the winner?
I think we're going to find out in the midterms that the Republicans are going to. I saw projections that they take 70 seats in addition to what they have now.
That would be huge.
They said it would be They said that it would be the largest majority. I don't know if the largest majority or the largest Republican majority. Very different things, I suppose, but probably close. Since like 1921.
That's huge. So for people that don't know, a 40-seat swing is considered pretty big, like historically.
That was the minimum. They were like 40 to 70 was what they were looking at.
We'll see. I might be living in a dream world where, like, I could be wrong. I think Roe v. Wade hurts the Republicans. This is a losing issue. Something like 69% of Americans want, like, abortion rights, and something like 15% don't, and the rest are indifferent or somewhere in between, like limited abortion. But most Americans don't want this. This is a minority rule thing that Christians have thrust upon normal people. I think doing it right before the midterms hurts the Republicans, but I might be projecting Woody's bullshit, and I could just be wrong.
No, that makes sense to me. But I also thought Trump would lose. I don't know.
Yeah. I hate our minority rule system. I'm tilting at windmills.
Come on, you can see the direction the winds are pointing, my friends. Here's what's about to happen. All right, they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade, and that means that it's going to be turned over to the states. Of course, it doesn't mean that now abortion's illegal everywhere. It means that now the states decide, and there are already like trigger laws in all those states. I'm sure that and now it is. But
Georgia, for example, tried to have 6 weeks before. That's what they'd have if there was no Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, I'd have to drive to North Carolina. No big deal. I get to see Woody and solve an issue.
You're winning me over. Carry on. You were saying it's going to happen.
Ride the bikes when I go up there. If we have an accident, boom.
Now you're saving the planet.
You save $500.
$500 on the way. Yeah. And
Maybe.
now we get new bikes.
Man, everything's coming up, Kyle.
Like my whole thing is, I do like states' rights. I think abortion is murder, but I think we should absolutely have legal abortion because it's gotten me out of a tight spot every now and then. You got to be
every so often you need to murder.
Oh God. But seriously though, like I think that's a baby. Like at 6 weeks, I think it's 6 or 8 weeks. It's a human being, but I still don't think they should overturn Roe v. Wade, and I still think abortion should be legal. Like that's where I am on that issue. No one else will say that. I don't think anyone else has that same opinion.
When's it get?
You have a similar opinion? Like when do you think
it's a little different? So I don't think it's a baby at 6 weeks. Especially when you remember that it's from the start of their period, right? So that, some of these times it wasn't even fucking conceived yet. But okay. So this at 6 weeks in, they say there's a heartbeat at 12 weeks or something. I hope I have this right.
Okay.
But that doesn't even have a fucking heart. The whole fucking lump of bullshit is pulsing. It's not a heartbeat.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When can you tell gender?
Something like 20 weeks. 15 weeks is where it changes from a vein to a heart, right? So they're talking about like this, oh, it has a heartbeat. Yeah, but no heart, you fuck shit. It's not a person. And then
It says 5.5 to 6 weeks after gestation.
For
A
what?
fetal heartbeat.
Zach here says at 15 weeks it changes from a vein to a heart. So I'm telling you, that heartbeat they're talking about at 5.5 weeks is not a heart like you're thinking. There's no heart. It's just sort of pulsing.
If we can't solve this, then no one can.
That's true. Zach, you haven't told me how many weeks. Do I have to look it up myself for gender? But like that's an interesting one. But
I don't know why. I don't know why I like threw that out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it'd be interesting.
It seems like a defining characteristic.
It makes it like a person, kind of. You know, like you can.
Don't say that.
But I don't know. It's a clump of cells at first. It's not a person. It doesn't have any hopes or dreams or thoughts or even a brain. When they want to stop people from getting rid of it, it gets you out of a jam. I don't.
What's the line?
I would go with viability. If this baby is viable, if it could possibly live outside of a person, even if there's a chance, if it has a 15% chance of living or 10 outside the mom, you kind of want. You shouldn't. Now you've taken too long, bro. You've taken too long. You know,
no
like,
late term stuff. You don't.
Well, not no late term, because there's always those babies with the brain on the outside and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
That's why I really lean on the whole viable.
Then there's the
That
viability.
seems like-
yeah.
Dude, could that be an advantageous trait?
A brain on the
No.
outside.
It,
All right,
it
bear
cannot.
With me.
Not half of the supervillains I've seen have visible brains
Yeah.
in cartoons.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe like if it's already
The kid's
out,
real genuine. Wears his heart on his sleeve.
A baby's sex.
if it's already on the outside, then like it'd be easier to do some cool stuff with. I say we take these outside the box thinkers, as I refer to them, and we sell them to Elon Musk, because I guarantee he's got like a whole project for like, brains and stuff. He's wanting to do that the thing he tortures the monkeys to do. What's that called? What's the monkey torture invention he has?
I didn't know he was torturing apes.
Yeah, he's been
torturing monkeys. Yeah, it's a chip in your brain.
I'm not cool with this now. He's
I
torturing
mean,
monkeys.
You got to break a few eggs.
Someone needs to stop him.
He's making a cool omelet over there, and brain dead monkeys are
Elon wouldn't even
Neuralink.
get like first rights to those dead baby fetuses or whatever the fuck.
Those
would go to like those cosmetic companies that they use like fucking foreskins and face creams and shit. How ghoulish is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. I was gonna prognosticate the future here. All right, so
yes, lay it out for us.
They're going to overturn this thing, and it's going to be a big fucking stink. But don't worry, the right loves this shit. They love big stinks, so they're going to come right at it, and it's going to be insane. And then coming in clutch as fuck is Elon Musk turning the reins loose of Twitter so that both sides can be as angry as fucking possible. It's going to be great. As long as nothing crazy happens with Russia and Ukraine, and it doesn't like spill over into Europe, and hopefully that just keeps grinding away and doing what it's doing
hopefully.
right now. Then Donald Trump sweeps into the White House.
Oh.
That's happening. And he gets another Supreme Court justice appointed. And then we're overturning gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other one?
Regular marriage.
I wish.
No marriage for anyone.
Make you all bastards. And fornicators.
What's the other one you're thinking of?
Oh, there's another one. What's like the well-established one? It's gay marriage, and there's maybe gays in the military. Maybe they go after that.
Does anybody care about that?
Yeah, they do. The fringe of them do.
I don't think my finger's on the pulse then.
Oh,
actually,
man.
I know it's not.
I had another thing, but it's not coming to mind now, unfortunately.
Well, what are the other big? They like guns, so they would maybe they'd go.
Free guns for all.
Mixed race marriage. Maybe make that illegal.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Go Trump.
I'm pretty sure.
Are we going to strike down the Emancipation Proclamation?
Oh, yeah.
We're getting rid of all of it. It's all liberal bullshit. It's all garbage.
Talk about how he would go with the line, I believe in the founding fathers' vision so much, we're going back to 1777. All right, that's where we are now. We're using those rules.
We fucked up the country. We're restarting it.
Restarting.
We're starting again. All the same rules. Let's see how it goes. And then
So now women can't vote.
Number one, no women can vote. Let's
That's
keep
gonna
that
help
one,
the
folks.
Republicans.
Let's keep that one, folks.
Like he's shit like that.
Yeah, it is a very slippery slope that we're going into, where like the Republic, if all these things I'm talking about, not the crazy voting stuff, but like if Donald Trump becomes the president, he's gonna have a lot of power.
Yeah.
They're gonna be able to do some awful things.
He's going to have the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court at the same time.
I don't think
he
he'll
could
get
become
elected president.
all right. All jokes aside, there is a large chance that we're looking at Emperor Trump.
The only reason
Not
I
king?
disagree is I don't think he's going to live long enough.
Yeah, he's too old and too fat.
I see him dying any day now.
But then again, billionaires, they live a long time. Remember Dianne Feinstein? Is she alive?
I don't know.
She's like 102. Like a story came out where it's like she wouldn't leave her post,
But who are the
she's
old,
like
fat
not remembering shit.
billionaires?
Oh, Warren Buffett. He's an old fat billionaire.
Yeah. He's a
I
good
guess
example.
billionaires tend to not be as fat. Musk, he's not fat, but Musk is like 40 something. He's like 42
Yeah.
or something.
Gates is
So
pretty old. He's not fat.
he's got a terrible body,
He doesn't have a good body, but he's not a fat one. He's just got dad bod.
but it's like an aversion to muscle. Like it's like
He's muscle phobic.
it's like a fear of it. That guy hasn't picked up an item in years.
He's a Mr. Burns body.
Item. Have you seen that? There's like this old interview of him on some like silly morning show, probably 10 years ago. And they're like, all right, Bill, we're going to ask you some questions. And they're like, what do you think a box of Raisin Bran costs? And he's like, oh. And you can tell he's not memeing because he would have answered more accurately if people would have liked him more. But he was like, I don't know, $15. And everybody's like, ha 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 ha. And he's like,
I've got a
okay,
better one.
okay. What do you think a Coca-Cola costs? He's like, $9.99. I don't know. And it's like, holy shit, this guy just doesn't understand the cost.
That happened to President Bush Sr. too. But I saw Bill Gates being interviewed. This is my favorite one. They're like, is it true you can jump over an office chair? And he's like, yes, that's true. Like, can you jump over an office chair right now? Yes, I could do it. Will you do it? Yes. And then he jumped over an office chair, over the back, over the part. It was like the one I'm in. Like,
I have seen that clip. That was pretty good. That was the most
You've seen
physical
it?
thing. That was an impressive jump. I like
What
that.
what if he'd fallen really badly?
That would have been hilarious. He clips his toes on the top, breaks all his teeth on the desk next to it.
he and I forget who the other person was, but I think he was from Microsoft also. It might have been Steve Ballmer. Had a competition going on to see who could leave the latest for their flight and still make the flight. They used to really cut that close. So the rules were like, start at the Microsoft office, campus, I'll call it, and then zip to the airport. And Bill Gates won, but he won by running to the, like, you know, where you drop someone off and just leaving his car there. Look at it. That's pretty good, right?
I'm less impressed now.
I remember the chair being taller, but for him, that's pretty good. Look,
That's a
he's
good job.
those pants. Those pants don't have a lot of flex. So
That's a good point. That's a good point. You're selling me.
But yeah, I like that he just left his airport there for like the tow truck company to deal with, so he could win his dumbass competition.
I know this is back to hockey briefly, but something happened in the Blues game last night that I have never seen. So, backstory, I'm about to put the link here. The Blues are up 4-0 in the third period, dominating the game. And you can see in the play, the puck is already all the way down the ice. The captain of the Minnesota Wild intends to injure, tries to break the ankle of Pavel Buchnevich, one of the Blues' best players. You can see him as Pavel's facing the other way, try and cross-check his Achilles and take him out. And instead of suspending this guy, which like a rule in the NHL is like intent to injure, which is what this is, instant suspension. Instant. Like that's what it should be. But the refs never call intent to injure because then, you know, it's a big call. And so they had to go do a hearing, and they just
just saw
fined
it.
him. Yeah, they fined him $5,000, which is the most they can fine him, but it's a professional athlete. That's no money. And so, yeah, this fucker gets to play. I mean, granted, he has previously his whole career, he's a clean guy. He's only like 5'8". He's one of the smallest guys in the NHL. But they didn't suspend him. And I'm now fearing that the Blues are going to retaliate next game, and then the Blues are going to get a fucking suspension.
It
Because
doesn't look like there's any injury, though.
no, thankfully there's not. Like, if he would have been injured, he would have been suspended, because the NHL tends to do suspensions based on the outcome, not the intent. But like, you can tell there's no hockey play to be made there. He's a defenseman. He should be.
I'll describe it. I'll do my best. The two players got tangled up. They're both on their knees. One's behind the other. Both of them sort of upright, but on their knees. And he cross checks, which means he puts the stick in both his hands. I don't know how to describe it better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's straight down. So he like pushes straight down on the back of the guy's Achilles. However, the guy's ankle just kind of rotated, and maybe it hit the side of his leg, and it looks like he's totally fine. And you're not protected on your Achilles. Like, people don't wear pads there.
Yeah.
But there are heavy socks and skates and stuff like that. So it was mitigated a little bit just by the clothing. Like,
No, Zach, we can't show NHL stuff. Sorry, but
dude, it's so bad.
It's so ridiculous. You couldn't even show a freeze frame. That's how dumb it is. But yeah, that was ridiculous. Watching that last night, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like if the Blues had done that, it's intent to injure for sure. And that's their captain and best defenseman. Which, if anything, it kind of reveals like the Blues were totally in his head. You know, they looked like a team that wasn't there, that had never been this good or on like the main stage.
Have
like
you
that.
ever done anything on that level of inappropriate?
No,
never.
No, I slashed a guy really hard in like the ankle a couple times, but you know,
that's goalie shit.
Other than I never like did something like that. No,
I did. I'm not proud of it. I've talked about it before, but I think I just got outplayed and put on my ass in a no check league. And I was kind of still trying to play, but basically I kicked at the guy's skates with my blades. And
that is frowned upon.
It is like, it's funny in hockey, you can straight up do fist fights and punch people in the face. And they're like, yeah, but that is, I think the thing called it a duster move. I've never heard that term before, but I'm sure it was a duster move. Like, that's not a move that you're proud of. And instantly after I did it, I was like, that's not you, Woody. Like, but it was, but that's not who you aspire to be.
Exactly. That's not you as a person. Just like this isn't that guy as a person. Like Jared Spurgeon's been in the league for 12 years. He's done this once. Like, you'd be silly to act like he's a dirty player because of one incident. Like that's ridiculous. But yeah, I was like, what the fuck? At least suspend him for a game, help the Blues out, without their best defenseman, but I guess not. So I'm just hoping the Blues respond in a way that's not suspendable or whatever.
They should just check the heck out of him.
They will. Yeah. But he's only like 5'8". And so if he gets blown up by a clean check and injured, like that's still going to be, because they go by what happens. Like, there are clean checks all the time where a guy like shoulder to the chest, perfectly clean hit, but the guy gets thrown into the boards at an awkward angle and hurts his neck. And it's like, well, you're going to the box. And it's like, well, that was a totally legal hit. I'm just getting a penalty for being bigger and stronger.
I hate that. But are you sure that in the boards part doesn't make it illegal?
I mean, if it's like if it's a boarding, yeah. But I'm talking about like when they hit a guy and then he like trips into the wall. Like there are some examples like that are a bit sillier. But
gotcha.
That's the playoffs, though. Like, you can't get too upset about it. It's easier to swallow when we won 4-0. I was a big part of the effort.
Yeah.
When we win, it's we. When the Blues lose this series, it's those guys.
You're being modest, Taylor. Did they score any goals on you?
They did not.
Did you play goalie?
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, me and Ville Husso, our goalie, first playoff game ever, he gets a 37 save shutout. So that's pretty great for us.
Dude,
all these Finnish guys are great at goalie.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, like, a bunch of Finns want to be goalie and they just get really good at it. It's weird how that works. Like, there's a bunch of really skilled Russian offensive players. Must just be like different cultures and how they learn to play. And then Canada, they're just the best at everything by an enormous margin. Like, it's not even close.
Who won the last gold medal?
I don't think they've allowed the NHL players there for the past couple, so I don't really take it serious unless they do the NHL players there.
Corrected. Yeah. Who has the best people who can't make the NHL? Huh?
Oh yeah, that's what it is. And like it was funny, like when Canada sent a team, they're like, "All right, how many NHL players retired right just now? Okay, you guys are all invited." That's how they did. And meanwhile, Russia's like, "Fuck, this guy maybe." And China was like, "Oh, technically, we give all of you Chinese citizenship." Again, like China's whole team was like, Yuri Glavninov. Like, it's like none of these are Chinese names.
Dude, it's hard to compete with China in so many arenas because they don't have any ethics. We were talking about designer babies. I'm telling you, designer babies are not that far away, and they will start in China. There's going to be really smart super.
There's
kids.
already designer babies hatched over there. I'm telling you, they've already hatched. They're doing their Spartan 1 training right now. Okay, they need better. They need better, faster, stronger soldiers to pilot the new mech suits that they're engineering. A normal human being can't do it. They don't have the mental acuity or the central nervous system to handle the input. They're making those super Gundam warriors, I believe they're called, and they're going to. Yeah, there you go. See.
Is that the guy in charge of it?
So, they jailed him.
No,
that's not the China I know.
That's what they call the lab.
They jail him. What if his gene editing babies was just him like molesting Swedish women? Like that's what his idea was.
It works.
Yeah,
I think Gattaca was onto something. Like this idea, if people don't know, this is a movie, old one, and it was basically the concept of like these super edited people. It's hard to compete if you're not one of them. And I think they're onto something. They're gonna be bigger, stronger, faster, better looking. This regular mutts, they're gonna have a hard time competing with these purebreds.
Yeah. We wanna get in first. Yeah, but I don't want to be alive when all this stuff takes off, because when everybody's like 8'2" and you're like the last generation of not, and you're like still dumb and have to do like math in your head instead of like using your cyber eyes to visualize it on the whatever the hell happens. Like, I don't want to be that. I want to be the last generation that dies naturally, and then they can go balls to the wall.
It has so many uses beyond just, the obvious things like, I want my kid to have blue eyes or whatever. Like if you were gonna colonize like a planet that had like was a larger than Earth planet, like with heavy gravity, like you could genetically engineer kids with like hollow bones or less dense bones to like be able to survive in a heavy gravity,
higher gravity. Yeah.
That is,
or maybe maybe
engineering children with bird bones and they're all just like not able to walk, dying.
No, they're on the planet. They're fine.
We just ship them there on crates and
no, you would, the embryos would be in stasis and they would be sent there on like a generational ship type thing.
Who teaches
There's
them? A robot of sorts.
Their parents do. They're on a generational ship. They're living there.
Yeah, but their parents don't have bird bones.
The parents are going to die in 30, 40, 50 years. The children are going to be the ones to have more. It's a generational shift. They're going to have family after family, but they need to have those genetic.
So the parents will
bones.
have bird bones because they're several generations down. This makes sense.
Yes, they're all fucking birds. And they're
all right. There is no bird fucking in this scenario.
I mean, that's the way have you ever seen all those movies where they go on the intergenerational ship? You know what happens is like after 2 generations of being in the Apple store with nothing but white light in your eyes, you go insane and they start murdering and eating each other.
No, you need one of those. What are they called? The Dyson cylinder. What are those? No.
Vacuum?
It's a science. It's a cylinder.
Dyson, the sphere.
It's not the Dyson sphere.
The Dyson Airblade. Is it the Dyson Airblade?
There's a term for where you surround the entire sun and take its energy.
That's a Dyson sphere.
We've revolutionized the way you can spend $2,000 to get your carpets clean. I remember.
It's called an O'Neill cylinder. It's called an O'Neill cylinder.
What is that?
And what do you need that for the bird?
For your generational ship that's going to go to like another star system.
But it wouldn't work unless there was like a big you would need an area with like trees and water and like a pond or something. Like you couldn't have them in. Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess they'd be all right.
Yeah,
I'm okay with your plan.
Thought so.
Once you added the
so.
artificial park sphere
Well, it's what
in
an O'Neill.
space.
Zach, will you please pull up an O'Neill cylinder image? Pretty please.
No, I think I have a pretty expert understanding.
I want everyone to see. I want everyone to see. Well, that's just the worst picture you could have chosen. That looks like a nice yard.
I feel like I'm not getting O'Neill cylinder either. Is this something that is an ecosystem completely contained? No.
Don't use the Wikipedia. Use Google Images, you fool.
I mean, I would have gone to Wikipedia.
I never go to Wikipedia ever.
Oh, I do.
I make sure I don't learn anything.
I like hitting the random button and I like learn about a Turkish general from 1704. And then you're like, what a waste of time. And you go back
I found
to
a great YouTube channel. Let me find what it is. So what this hat is, they take the written accounts from historical meetings like Montezuma's like written account of what it was like when he met the Spanish and like their take on the whole thing. It's awesome. It's called like History Talks or something like that. But they thought that the Spanish were literally gods and they were doing their best to give them whatever they wanted. And it's like 400 men conquered like 20 million or something like that.
Yeah. Huge L. Like,
and
like, like really
Wait,
bad.
400 men against 20 million. That I couldn't even touch that many people.
When
if I had a death touch, I'd still lose. Like
the account from the Spanish
point of view.
Bang.
The account from the Spanish point of view, he said something like, "Have there ever been more courageous men ever to dare such a feat? We burned our ships when we landed, so there was no way of return, and we have conquered a nation of millions as we walk among them." Like,
gosh,
don't tell them about reloading.
They didn't.
Yeah. Don't give them a concept of limited sphere with these blunderbusses we're hopping off the ship with.
They kidnapped the emperor.
Yeah, they won that battle roundly. That would have been a sweep in the
roundly?
playoffs.
Is it soundly or roundly?
Yes,
I've heard both. Yeah.
I've heard both.
I didn't know roundly. Maybe I learned something new.
Or maybe I misled you. You know, I don't know. If so, I've been saying it wrong.
In which
too.
case, you still learned something new, and that is not to trust Taylor.
Yeah, in which case, I learned something new, which is I've been saying this wrong for years. Well, I know we're all hungry. You guys want to wrap?
You're right.
Yeah.
Roundly works. Okay. PKN 402.